Okay, call the special meeting to order. The time is 11:05. The date is August 7th, 2026. And I'm going to start with Commissioner Miller, if you could, please, invocation. Everyone, please stand if you are able.
Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, once again, we want to thank you for allowing us to rise on this morning, giving us life, health, and strength. We ask you to be with us today as we make decisions on today. Help us to do those things that will be pleasing in our sight. Father God, we just want to thank you for watching over us all night long as we slumbered and slept, keeping us from all hurt, harm, and danger, seen and unseen. And we ask you to continue to be with us, give us knowledge and understanding to be able to do those things which will be pleasing upon your people. And Father God, be with us today. Help us to do those things. Once again, I say, in your name we do pray. Amen.
The pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Do you have, is Don?
We'll give Don a call now.
Unfortunately, our general counsel could not join us in person today, but he will be on phone should he be needed.
I'm sorry, can I come up and adjust the sound if it's, there is?
Absolutely, please do.
Yeah, very much.
It's my understanding. Good morning, Don.
Hey, Don.
Good morning.
Good, Mr. King, just a moment.
Go for it, let's see what happens.
Okay.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Better? Okay, great, thank you. Thank you all for being here this morning. Mr. Holmes, thank you for joining us. Derek has stepped out.
Mr. Linda, can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yes, we can.
Good, thank you.
thank you, Mr. King. We were having trouble with that on Tuesday night as well. Okay, Dawn is there, we can hear him if you want to start us off.
So thank you, Commission, for being here today.
Yes. Did we have a roll call? Oh, we haven't, I'm sorry, Sharita, would you do a roll call for us? Thank you, Commissioner DeVita. I got into the sound, so we were making sure, go ahead.
Commissioner Cynthia Burton,
Here.
Commissioner Linda Moore,
Here.
Commissioner Lisa Kane DeVito,
Present.
Vice Mayor William B.J. Laurie,
Here.
Mayor Michelle Myers,
Present.
City Manager Derek Martin,
Here.
HR and Payroll Manager Sheila Walker,
Here.
and myself, the City Clerk Sharita Belcher, and we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, and we have our general counsel.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry,
By phone.
City Attorney General Counsel Donald Holmes, on phone.
He's on phone. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commission, for being here today, and members of the public. This is really tough for me today. This is not something that I want to do, but this is something that needs to be done to be brought in front of you to make a decision. I'm gonna keep it short and simple, but I have lost trust and confidence in my fire chief. And I have to step away for a second, okay? I'm sorry.
Mayor,
Yes.
I have a request. It's not the packet, but could we have just a copy of the page of the charter?
You want a copy of the charter? I'll go get.
Just
That one page.
the page that
Yes.
it addresses that responsibility. Is it in our?
Yeah, I've got it on my desk.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
Yesterday. Yes.
I'd like to buy some coffee. No, I can't. I'll bring another. Do you want me to put half?
No, I'm for.
Okay, got it. I think we're good. Sure. I have one. Yeah, we're good for now. Yeah. Thank you. You need a guard.
Okay. I kind of wrong. Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. As I stated earlier, this is very tough for me. When I was hired for this job, you all asked me to my face, and I met you all, and I had the same replies I have now. This is the toughest part of my job, and it's not anything that anyone would ever want to do, is to tell somebody that they no longer trust you and your services no longer needed. I put together a report on the actions that's taken place and the dates. If you look at the emails and the report, everything is written. My conclusions are based on documented actions and statements made from the chief via email. The discrepancies between the chief's statements and the verified operational and dispatch records indicate a purposeful falsification of information related to emergency operations and equipment readiness, which of course bothered me on a Sunday. And I did my own due diligence to find out that most of what I was told was misrepresented to me. These misrepresentations were presented to me in my official capacity and were framed as urgent operational failures requiring immediate action on the part of the city to unnecessarily provide a vehicle at this time to the fire department under the premise of the fire department being unable to meet emergency response and water rescue needs. Pending further investigation and action, on July 17th, Chief Razor was placed on administrative leave with pay after consultation with Don Holmes, our city attorney. And integrity, accuracy, and trust are essential to this position of fire chief. The deliberate misrepresentation of emergency response information constitutes just cause for removal. As a result, I no longer have confidence in my chief and Chief Razor's ability to serve as the city, Crescent City, in this capacity. Therefore, pursuant to 3.06 of the City of Crescent City Charter, I respectfully request the Commission's approval to remove Chief Razor from duty effectively immediately. He has been notified of this recommendation, and he has been provided an opportunity to be here and heard as required by our city charter, if he so chooses. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, as you know, this is an opportunity for Chief Razor to also have, all of you had an opportunity to read through the paperwork. Okay. So at this time, if everyone is in agreement, I'm going to ask Chief Razor if he'd like to come up and speak.
Morning, Commissioners, Mayor. I'd like the opportunity to defend myself. I feel that Mr. Martin has provided half-truths to the situation. So I have some documentation that I would like to provide. And At the end of this, if the commission still feels the need for me to be removed, I'll resign. I'm handing out currently my firefighter bill of rights.
I think we have a comment.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
Mr. Martin has repeatedly broken my firefighter bill of rights, and in this situation has done the same. This situation goes way back further than what he is providing the commission. I have proof of that, but to address what he has brought up, and then we can go back and I can bring up where this all started. The situation occurred, we had 2 Marine rescue calls in the area. Per his email, let me grab it so that I have all my documentation correct. First, originally, I was placed on administrative leave, and per that document, it explained in bold letters that it was non-disciplinary action. I failed to see how it went from non-disciplinary to request for termination. Furthermore, if you continue on with Mr. Martin's statements, on his second page, it states that verification by City Hall shows that CETO never dispatched the Crescent City Fire Department, and then the next one says the second incident involving a capsized boat was also never dispatched. I have the actual dispatch recording and dispatch email stating that both of these cases were dispatched. I have a letter from CETO confirming that they were contacted by 911, and I have documentation that I've also sent Chief back a request for people to pull the boat that is in question at the fire station. On further investigation, as Mr. Martin has done, I have also done the same. I took the VIN number and contacted Ozark Ford. The boat, my understanding, was weighed on Tuesday. It weighs at 3,800 pounds without the equipment in it that is required. That was not the float pump, the hose, the nozzles, the backboards, all the equipment that should be. So give or take, let's add 100 or 200 pounds, say it's 4,000 pounds. Ozark Ford responded to me stating that that vehicle at that capacity, and police interceptor package with that motor and 4-wheel drive towing capacity has a maximum tow limit of 2,000 pounds. That is 1,800 pounds under what the boat weighs. So the boat on that vehicle exceeds the maximum weight that vehicle can tow. Also, per Florida state statute, which I have here, that boat is required by law to have 2 means of braking systems. Florida State Statute 316 requires every trailer have automatic braking actuators that exceed 3,000 pounds. Per Mr. Martin, this boat weighs 3,800 pounds. We'll use his numbers. That puts it over 800 pounds of the maximum limit allowed by law. It requires 2 means of stopping. It has none when it's hooked up to that response vehicle. I've explained to him that before. Doesn't seem to matter. Furthermore, that boat, when it's hooked to that vehicle, has 4.5-inch clearance from the ground. It will not clear a train track. So I removed that boat from service and came to him several times to start back in March, this past practice, because he gave us a dump truck to pull it once. The dump truck was too high and broke the trailer tongue on the boat, but we had to replace it. So he is aware that the truck we used was out of service. So he gave us a vehicle. Since then, he gave us another vehicle to use, which we did not use because it didn't have the trailer braking system. When these 2 calls came out, I sent an email to him and to Chief Back explaining we have no way to respond our boat legally. Per state statute, we cannot respond that boat. We are breaking the law. He is aware of that. I have the statute here. He is writing in that document saying that I've given him false information. I did not give him false information. As stated, I also have the email from the county. And what he is saying is that it shows that we were canceled on that call, that we did not respond. We did respond. The county sent me an email and states the following. The CAD screen and 911 system shows that the stations were canceled to free up the station for additional calls, not the units. So the units itself still responded. They reset the station so if an additional call comes out, they can respond. That's why it shows they have been canceled, and that's why he's saying I gave him false information. The very next document I have is from CETO, stating that 911 contacted them and said there was a boat that was in distress, and that I met him at the boat dock and offered for assistance. He is claiming that never happened. I have the documentation. I can go on and on about this situation, but with that there, that should be enough to justify that I'm not breaking state law to respond to vehicle because he is requesting or saying that I'm not following procedures. Furthermore, in none of the documents provided by Mr. Martin does it say I ever broke a policy or procedure or had a complaint by anyone. I was trying to do what's best for the community, trying to get an apparatus to safely move an emergency vehicle. And I was trying to also contact the county, which I have emails here for that as well, where I've sent the chief back with the same request. I'm not sure how it went from a non-disciplinary action under review to requesting termination. I don't feel that I have the statutes here. I didn't break any laws. I didn't break any procedures. This all goes back to July 14th is when all of this started. Furthermore, what this is turned into, and I'll just be very blunt and honest, this is turned into a targeting and now retaliation by Mr. Martin, and I can prove it. This goes back to July 14th. We started having issues then. The county requested me to come down and be part of a committee. On that committee is because I have taken our fire station to the point where it is now acknowledged as one of the best fire stations in the county by the county and by forestry in the state of Florida. They put me on a committee to represent other volunteer stations and wanted to start doing classes and everything down here for us to put on. I went to his office to explain that to him. It was met by being flicked off with Keith sitting across the room from him through the window. Furthermore, it came down, then I got my documentation. I showed up to meet Ms. Sheila for documentation. Per my firefighter bill of rights, I could bring a witness. He tells her absolutely not. I understand that she was doing her job, but she answers to him. He's her boss. He's created a monopoly where she can't accurately do her job because of whatever he says. So all my witnesses had to leave. Before they could leave, two of my witnesses that are sitting here heard Mr. Martin call me on the phone, cuss me for everything I'm worth, and tell me he's going to the commission to take my job. Witnesses. Ms. Sheila was there. Then he hangs up on me and proceeds to call back again and say he's calling a special meeting to make sure that I'm unemployed. I have witnesses. Ms. Sheila was there. I asked her at that moment, what can I do in this incident because I'm being attacked and targeted? All this came from the resolution. When that resolution got dropped, I contacted Mr. Martin via email and explained to him I had questions as per section 9 where I'm allowed to ask questions in that. He kept responding back and saying that it was on me, and if I showed up for a meeting, I'd be able to understand this. More or less, it was my problem. In that email, I said to him, I feel harassed and targeted at this point. His final email to me was, rest assured this will be handled tomorrow. Next thing I know, I'm placed on leave. That's 100% targeting for asking a question about a resolution on how I'm supposed to operationally make it work with policies and procedures when I have questions as per section 9 I'm allowed to ask. This is my defense to what's going on. Like I said, I have state statute to back up what I just said, and if the commission disagrees with me, I will gladly resign. But that's how I feel, and I have witnesses to the situations.
If I may, the last comment on the email is because I received an email late in the night when I was in bed, and I didn't feel like replying back because it was 2 pages of diatribe. So I'm sorry, Chief, that I made you feel that way. By no means is this an attack. I just gave you a raise, and I've been very happy with your work and very happy that you've turned around the station. This has nothing to do with pooling the vote. That was what started this process and what I was investigating. And the biggest issue that I had was that I was told there were people in the water and we couldn't respond. To later find out that there was nobody in the water. It's in the email. I provided this email. I was minutes prior. This is the chief of fire, and I expect him to give me pinpoint accurate information, and I was given misinformation, and that is why we're here today. It has nothing to do with anything else other than the discrepancies in the email. And even your email later, after you told me that you were the one with CETO, you told me that the one with CETO was called to dispatch, and dispatch called CETO and didn't page 3 originally.
That's correct.
Okay, so your other email, sir, doesn't state that. It states that you took care of CETO. Now, I don't really care about CETO. I don't care about any of that, but I care about when you tell me we can't do the job because we don't have the apparatus and there's people in the water, to come to find out that they're not in the water, and the email was created in a way to make me feel that it was happening in Lake Crescent, because you talk about about being a mile away. Okay, so that's what this is about.
If I could rebuttal that, I have the 911 dispatch call where they said there were people in the water. As everyone knows, as Major Usry has told you, as I have told you before, situations evolve over time. The last information I received when I sent him that email was that there was people in the water, there were 2 teenagers that were on the boat that were unaccounted for. Even when they clear a call, even if it was a rescue or recovery, it doesn't mean we have a full patient count. I provided the information I had to him at the time I had it. This information was sent to me from dispatch 2.5 weeks later. I can't give him accurate information until I get the information. I provided what I had at the time when the information was given. As stated, this is a targeted attack.
Thank you. Commissioners, I'm sure you've got some questions.
I do have questions, I was a little concerned about the city manager jumping in before we could ask our questions.
I understand.
I think kind of
We've
muddies
got
the
some emotions.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I see that. So my first questions, I think, are for our city attorney. Can he hear you?
Don, can you hear us?
Not ready there.
Hello, Don.
Turn it back up. Done.
You turn it down.
That's up.
Don? I hear him.
You on YouTube?
Okay, Don, hi, this is Lisa DeVito. Can you hear me okay? Yes, we can hear you. I heard you say you're listening to us on YouTube, but we have to talk to you by the cell phone.
It's repeating.
Yeah, Commissioner, you're right, it is a bit awkward, but I'm watching you on YouTube and I'm talking to you via my phone. There is a little bit of delay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so I have questions for the city attorney. My first question is because the documents that we have in front of us, which are the firefighters' bill of rights, which I think are some, and also have some notes from the city manager, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, there's some notes from the city manager, and then there's a number of pages about some of the factual issues that there are. I think it would have been helpful, because factual issues are very detailed, if we had had those before this meeting. But number one, does the firefighters' bill of rights apply in this managerial situation?
Well, the firefighters' bill of rights, it offers some procedural, requirements to taking disciplinary action. I don't have what he has in front of me, so we did meet with him. I was with the city manager during a meeting, or when there was a meeting held with the chief, and at that time he did not provide any specifics of the firefighters' bill of rights that he felt were being violated. Maybe he hadn't had a chance to research it, I really don't know. But before I try to respond, I probably want to see exactly what he's referencing. So that's about the best I can do, is to tell you that I don't know what he's specifically referencing. It's pretty, I'll leave it at that. I might heard him say that he's been targeted, but that is a pretty common response whenever disciplinary action begins, it seems these days, to say that they've been targeted. So I need to see exactly what he's referencing and understand exactly what facts he's asserting in support of that assertion before I can comment on it.
I can,
Okay, well, could I just finish my question that Mr. Holmes made? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
So, Mr. Holmes, we have a situation, and this is my feeling about it. We have our city manager and we have a department head. And it is apparent to me that the city manager and the department head disagree about how some things should be handled. Is that essential disagreement and, I guess, lack of, I don't know what to call it, lack of getting along or being of the same mind, is that sufficient for a department head, to be, terminated?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, all municipal and government employees in the state of Florida are at-will employees, meaning that they do not have a job right. So, in essence, they can be terminated for any reason, but not for one of the constitutionally protected reasons, like, as you know, what they're commonly referenced, age, sex, sexual orientation, ethnicity, religious reasons. Those constitutionally protected reasons are exceptions to the general rule. So the bottom line is, yes, basically a department head can be, like any other employee, can be terminated at will by the city. If they have a specific contract, there may be contractual provisions that have to be honored, but otherwise they can be terminated. Now there are built in general, and sometimes in contract. Chief Razor doesn't have a specific employment contract, does he?
No.
No.
Okay, so there's nothing then that I have to look at from that perspective, but in general, normally, a employee who's being terminated is entitled to a name clearing hearing, for lack of a better term. That's kind of the phrase given to it, where they get to present their side of the story. Usually, it goes to their immediate supervisor, or that hearing does, and then if that doesn't work, then there could be an alternate, finder, and that would be the commission. But in your case, the supervisor of the city manager is the commission. So, the answer is yes, that he can be terminated for reasons of, philosophical difference in approach, or in what the city manager has asserted was a lack of confidence in the information that is being provided by the department head. I don't know what the chief just presented in terms of emails. I know that when we had our meeting, my concern was that I didn't see in the email two things that were interesting to me. The first was I didn't see anything in his email to the city manager that said, I'm being advised by someone else that we had this problem. We were unable to respond to what amounted to a life or death call because we did not have a vehicle with which to tow the boat. But there was nothing in the email that said I'm being advised by someone else that it's a life-saving or a matter of life and death involved. He has not verified that information that there was actually the boat was unoccupied. Tried to understand the timing as best I could of the calls, but my overall conclusion was that it appeared to me as though the email was not entirely accurate. Now, whether that was due to an intentional deception on the part of the chief or choice of words, that's something I can't say. Also, I didn't, certainly didn't read the email and understand it to mean that he was saying that the boat could not be towed because the, weight limit, at that time he hadn't gotten anything from Ford Motor Company at that time. As I recall, he stated that the tow capacity of the boat, of the truck, on the Explorer, was 5,000 pounds, which the boat would have been under. But the email as I saw was just that, as he showed me, was just that we don't have anything to tow it with. And I reached the same conclusion, I guess the city manager did, being that the Explorer is not operational, or, it's not operational. We don't have anything to tow it with. And the way it was put was, we didn't respond to a life-saving, a life or death emergency because did not have something we could tow the boat with, which, I admit, that's kind of a, I guess, questionable approach for our chief to take. If there's kids in the water, but that's my fault. So at the time we got through the meeting, I was under the impression that the email was misleading, but whether it's by intent or not, I really couldn't say. Now he's produced additional information about tow capacities and things of that nature. He did tell us that the boat had been taken out of, he told us at that meeting that he had taken the boat out of service by notifying whomever, public safety, and Palacker, I don't know, maybe on a state level, that the boat was out of service. And I did ask him at that time if he notified the city manager at the time that he took a piece of firefighting equipment or life-saving equipment out of service, and he said no. Which I thought was significant as well, because I've got a department who takes a piece of, who notifies the outside world that a piece of equipment that I, as city manager, believe we've got is out of service. I think I know that when it happens, not after the fact. And that was significant to me as well. And then, we got into the conversation about when the boat was out of service anyway, and I at some point asked him, well, how long does it take to put the boat in service? And he said, basically, immediately, I can basically put it back in service, notify everybody that's in service right away. So I just was getting less confused. I guess from my perspective, I was getting some confusion as to exactly what, was his position of defense. And then, but I did not have the backdrop of a request for a different vehicle or anything of that nature. So the city manager said he had no confidence anymore that he could rely upon a department head to give him accurate information. Certainly understand that. Much like you as a commission, you depend on your city manager to give you accurate information. If you have to go behind everything he says, well, it's not the best of situations. And with a life safety role like chief of police, fire chief, I think the same concept applies. Now, so bottom line is, trying to answer your question specifically, and I realize I've talked around a little bit, but, personnel issues sometimes are not necessarily clean and easy. But to try to give you a specific answer, yes, in my opinion, the fire chief could be terminated because of a loss of confidence from the city manager that could be based upon, a number of factors, some obvious and some not. My concern is that if we're basing the decision on inaccurate information, then I would, it's not a question of whether it can be terminated, it's a question from my standpoint of not basing the termination on inaccurate information. Does that make sense at all, Commissioner?
Well, Don, it does to me. I think that you were very clear. Other commissioners may have questions for you, but I think you went through and answered every question that I have, and to me, got there in a very logical manner. And it sounds like what you're saying is that, there's different reasons for termination. You can base it on a very specific factual issue, or there's a more global issue that I asked about, which is the loss of confidence and the impaired working relationship. And you
Yes,
spoke,
ma'am.
you spoke to both of those.
Yes, ma'am, I believe, maybe I didn't do it as directly as I might have, but I believe
You
that I conveyed what I, that you're right, that what you.
Well, the mayor's
I'm sorry.
in charge, yeah.
I'm in charge here. Did you have any questions? No,
Well, actually, I do. Sitting here reading this initial email, Chief, you say at the very end, this is another reason why we need to try to find out a replacement vehicle for QR3 as soon as possible. And what are the other reasons?
The other reason was, and which I was trying to relate to Commissioner Vito, our squad, the truck that actually pulls us an F-550, it had been out of service since 3/10 of 26. Hence the reason I didn't remind Mr. Martin that our truck was out of service, because it was never placed back in service. That was the other reason, is we have a very unreliable truck that pulls the boat, and QR3 is unable to pull the boat. That's why I was like, this is another reason why we need to get a separate vehicle, because we have no way to respond it if the county truck goes down, which it had been down since 3/10 of 26, which he was aware of, as stated, because he gave us vehicles to use during the time.
Commissioner Moore? Commissioner Burton?
You know, this is a simple thing, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
I only have a couple pieces of data here, and basically, when you take a look at it, you really didn't, at the time, okay, that these calls came in, and then reading through here, I guess they did not come into Crescent City. You said they came into Crescent City,
Yes, ma'am.
and you said that you weren't able to respond with a vote because we had nothing to pull it with.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then there was a second call that came in. I mean, you just have to read this, you know, today we had younger kids caught in a storm on the lake. The storm sank the boat in Station 23 from Satsuma had come down and says, we were never called on that either. Okay, as far as what I can see on the call list. So you're making it, I hate to say it, Chief, but you're making it sound like we can't take it because we can't pull the boat, okay, and then they gave that response to somebody else. And it doesn't sound but I'm gonna tell you this, once you lose the trust of who you are working for, once you lose that trust, it's extremely difficult to work together at that point. And I hope that you understand that.
I do, but I'm trying to see where it said in here that we couldn't,
Well, I'm just looking at when
Because
things were
we did get-
canceled
we
and,
did get the
Let
call.
her finish, please.
yeah, I think, you know, I look at when things were canceled. You know, if you're calling me and you're telling me there's something going on and I can't get a boat out there, and now I'm all worried, okay? Because that's our job, is to respond, but when you're telling me that and you're not really being, you know, fair in saying that they never called Crescent City, okay?
That's what
I
it
just
said.
kinda knew about it.
We did get called. That's what I was saying. This letter came in from dispatch. And the reason it's showing cancel is because they canceled the station, so the station can be repaged. We did get paged. I have the recording from the call where we were paged.
But that's not what you're saying in this letter to him. What you're saying in this letter is that we got called, we didn't go because we didn't have a boat. Is that what you told them?
Then- then-
When they called you, is that what you said to them? We can't go because we don't have a boat, so you may as well cancel us and put us back on so we can do something else.
No, ma'am, we responded to the call. We just didn't respond our boat because we had nothing to pull it. We responded to the call. We were the first truck at the scene, actually.
Okay, that's all I got.
Does somebody have another question?
I was just wondering, what good does responding with the truck? If there's somebody on a boat sinking,
Because on our trucks, we carry flotation devices, water. We can still try to get to the personnel.
but did you?
We responded to our truck and once they got there, they were trying to locate the boat. Engine 9 also came over and they tried to get out to the boat. It was, they were in bad weather. They tried to get into the water. They had to wait for Marine Corps to get there because of the location. But, or Marine 23, I'm sorry.
But we had, I just don't understand. Why are we not using what we can to get to them? I don't know.
Well, they wouldn't have made it to that call anyway because it couldn't appear to the train tracks.
In your opinion, yeah.
With 4-inch clearance, I'm.
And that's in, I mean, that's in your,
Yes,
that's your, okay.
Is Huntington Road a mile away? Huntington's. Where this call was?
No, I was talking about that boat ramp.
Thank you. So the email was talking about Crescent. Crescent Lake.
Right.
When I got back in town, I took the QR, I pulled the boat down, I launched it, and I retrieved it. There was no lag, there was no issue. Now I understand in an emergency situation, if we have people in the water, I want my chief, I want my guys saving lives. The call was at Huntington, not 1 mile away. This email paints a picture as if we could not take a call on Lake Crescent and that we had kids in the water and it took 30 minutes for Satsuma to get here. Commission, that is my problem. It has nothing about pulling a boat, it's misinterpreting the facts and giving that to me. And that's why I've lost total confidence in my chief. And I get along with this gentleman. I have never attacked him.
That was the information that was given to
Okay,
me.
wait,
Let me
let me finish.
I have never attacked him. I never threatened his job. I tried to keep this as quiet as possible between us so we could talk. He talks about the Bill of Rights being foul, about coming in. That was just to get a piece of paper, not an interrogation. And when we had the meeting with Sheila, Ussery, and our legal counsel, he was given the opportunity to bring whoever he wanted, and he said he didn't want anybody there. I gave you notes in your file on the Bill of Rights with notes for each one to make sure that I followed it. Chief has made me very aware that I have to follow it. I have been threatened by him to the state. We had multiple meetings and found information that was given to us improperly before. This is not the first time this has happened, and I have given him several chances, and I have everything in this file. And I'm sorry that I have to do this today, but my recommendation stands.
Okay. I just have a couple of questions. First off, you noted that he, used, I guess, very foul language and Sheila, were you in part of that conversation?
She was.
I was walking in
Yes, ma'am.
when that conversation was going on.
Okay.
Derek had asked me to call the chief and have him come in.
Miss Sheila, can you use the mic? I'm sorry.
Derek, the city manager, had asked me to call the chief and have him to come in and give him this, put him on the lead. And when he came in with the volunteers.
Okay.
And so that's why we was confused at, because it was only a conversation between me and the chief.
Okay. But that, yes,
You asked a question about,
I understand my
Okay.
question. I understand my question.
I just didn't hear
So
that.
the foul language, I guess, was that over the phone? Did you say it was
Yes,
over the
ma'am.
phone that he spoke to you and you were part of that?
I walked in and yes, I did hear,
Okay,
yes.
so they were having a confrontation.
I wasn't saying anything. Like I said, I have witnesses that can vouch for that.
This vehicle, I know from, and we've heard this multiple times, is, in your opinion, not sufficient. And you have been asking for another vehicle for a very long time. I actually asked the city manager, because he was very distraught over this, when he got this email. And immediately, he was concerned that we as our fire department, that we were inept and we were not performing our duties, and someone's life could have been in danger. And that's, I think, when he decided to start exploring this, because he was very upset about it. And I did ask him, Has anybody ever taken that vehicle? I mean, most of us have grown up around boats and vehicles, and have you ever taken that boat? Has anybody taken that boat with that vehicle and launched it in the water? And, that's when I think you went ahead and you did that, and you videotaped it, correct? Did you videotape it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, you videotaped
I
it.
did.
You were able to put it in the water and pull it back out of the water. And I asked the question, how much does the boat weigh? And I guess at one point, did you think it had weighed, what, 5,700 pounds? Is that?
My understanding was it was just over 5,000 pounds. So I'm glad it got weighed because I didn't know where to get it weighed.
So my question to you as somebody who is, my question to you would be, if I had a doubt, rather than speculate, especially when you're dealing with the situations you deal with, why did you not take that boat up and have it weighed and get an accurate weight on that boat?
For two reasons. One, it shouldn't be pulled by that car by law anyway. So it was never going to be hooked to it, so I had no reason to go get it weighed. The boat weight at that point with what we're using to pull it or what had been used to pull it in past practice for years has no problems. The towing capacity on that is well above and beyond, and that car is not designed to pull it, so I had no reason.
But in an emergency situation, knowing you didn't have that, I would want to know. That's just some information I would have wanted to know and so when did you get, so let me ask you this also. So when did you actually reach out and get the documentation that you have, as far as the fact that that vehicle could not pull 5,000 pounds?
So on the day of the incident, I contacted Ford, I contacted dispatch, and I contacted, the day I got the letter from Ms. Sheila.
That's when you contacted them.
I contacted Ford that day. I contacted dispatch and CTO the day of the actual
That's not what
call.
I'm asking. I want to know, when did you?
The day I got the letter from Ms. Sheila.
Okay, so that's when you decided to delve into it and actually find out if in fact that vehicle could pull that. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions?
Well, my only question, Mayor, is, well, I don't think I ever heard the answer about the profanity issue, but be that as it may. I believe the chief said he had people to bring to speak.
Well, I'm giving the
Okay,
commission,
no, I
right
don't.
now, this is between us and the
No,
commission.
I don't have.
I mean, this is between us and him at this time. And then if he needs to bring a witness, I just wanted to make sure the commission was complete with your questions.
I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
What's the mileage on QR3?
The last time I was over there, 50, just under 60,000, 57.
57.
And that was a police car before?
Yes.
And
And if I could answer, the attorney said he wanted to know what actual things I was talking about with my firefighter bill of rights. I have this for you. Not that it's, at this point, it doesn't sound like it's gonna matter, but under statute 112.82, section A, says I should have significant detail in the investigation. I didn't have significant detail. All I had when this started was a letter saying I was placed on leave and it was non-disciplinary. That's all the detail I got. That is not sufficient detail of what is going on. I had minimal time to repair it, and furthermore, I was removed from the station where all of my documents and everything were, so I had to get all this documentation on my own, from recall or saved emails to my personal. The next one was during the informal interrogation under section B. It says firefighter may not be subject to offensive language unless I've stated I was cussed out, flicked off. That directly violates my firefighter bill of rights by Mr. Martin. He was on the phone, I got hung up on, he did it again. And then the last one, like I was saying, under section C, it says I can't be disciplined, demoted, denied, transfer, discharged. And I'm trying to figure out.
Hold on one moment.
I think it was the other phone call.
Okay, go ahead.
Don, you still there?
Dawn,
Yes, I am.
okay.
And then under that one, I have no reason as to why, nothing in that document tells me as to why I was put on leave. I didn't break any policies, procedures, I had no citizen complaints. As far as I knew, our station was doing well. I sent an email to inform Mr. Martin what was going on. Yes, some information was incorrect, that was not intentional, and that's the other thing I was going to point out. The email came to me from the county with the accurate information on the 28th. This call went out on the 12th. I had to wait that long to get reasonings on why it's showing that we were canceled when we weren't. I had to wait that long to find out the actual, all the back information. So he's painting a picture as that I lied to him, when the truth is, I just didn't have the information until a later time.
And you shouldn't have created this story. You should have waited till you got the information, because if I bring the information to this group that's inaccurate or false or misleading, I'm fired.
That was not
I'm sorry,
inaccurate at the
it's my
time.
job
At
to,
the end.
it's my job. I wanna say one more thing. We're talking about the weights, we're talking about the vehicles, we're talking about all that. Again, I wanna reiterate, it has nothing to do with any of that. And when it comes to the fire code or the firefighter's bill of rights, I paid very close attention to this. I'm a very quick study. I made sure that everything was followed. You were never interrogated. We had a meeting. The letter stated that we would have a meeting. The letter stated we were doing an investigation, that you would be given that information, which you were given. The information that this commission has today, back on that date when you, myself, Ussery, and our attorney met, you were given all of the data.
No, sir. I was given this document. I'm talking about from the time Ms. Sheila handed me that document to the time that investigation is when that occurred. And that's considered an investigation.
And in the letter,
Because it says it
in the
is.
letter,
You broke
we
the
were,
Bill of
we
Rights.
were under an we were looking
Right.
into
Under
the,
an investigation.
you were
Breaks the
not.
Bill of Rights.
You were not. We were looking into the facts, and I
Okay.
gave you the
Well, here's-
information once I found the facts.
Chief Razor, we're not gonna go back and
Okay,
forth. I
so-
need one speaker at a time.
And I'm done, Mayor. I appreciate the time. That's all I have to say. I mean, we followed it to a T to make sure that this wouldn't happen, because again, I have been personally threatened with lawsuit on multiple occasions from this individual, and I'm good. I'm done. I followed everything to the T.
Mayor, I have one last thing to say.
Yes.
I've just proven to the commission in writing, how documented, he broke my firefighter bill of rights 3 times. If we move that boat with that car, that breaks statute, that breaks law. So if I understand this correctly, if we follow what he tells us to, every time we hook that boat, you know he's breaking the law.
I would like to say one thing, Mayor, in response to that.
Yes, then I wanna go to Dawn.
I'm gonna look in your eyes when I tell you this. If you have kids drowning out there, I expect you to hook up whatever you gotta do to go save lives.
I just want it to be
Okay.
on record.
All
that
right.
he's telling us to
I'll put that
break the
on
law.
record too.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes, you there? Dawn? Dawn?
Did you hang up on?
Yeah.
I don't know. Dawn?
I'm gonna hang up the phone.
Mr. Holmes? Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to, you said you had some witnesses, we're
Yes,
going
ma'am.
to allow them to speak. So
Absolutely.
They would like to come forward. Please state your name, your address if you will.
Cassandra Bailey.
I'm sorry, your name?
Cassandra Bailey.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
We asked for a position.
Yes. And your position.
I'm a volunteer.
Thank you for being here today. Okay. Did you have something that you wanted to say?
Yes, we were coming down here to support Razor. He did not request us to be here. There was something that the department felt that there was some conflict going on. So one of the staff at the fire station asked for all of us to come down to support him. We were in a class during the time that Ms. Sheila notified him that he needs to come down here. So one of the fire department members asked us to come that day because they were worried that he would be under, I don't know, being punished of some kind. So we all wanted to talk to Ms. Sheila or whomever to basically a character of who he is to us and the trust that we have in him and how much he's gone above and beyond for us. we did not realize half of this. So when we came down here to Miss Sheila, because he was supposed to have a witness of some kind anyway, due to the Bill of Rights. So we were all going to be a part of that as well, but wanted to also get a chance to just be a character of who he is. During that time, we came in here to wait. Miss Sheila was gonna contact Derek and just let him know. And then when we sat in here, he called and we could hear, he wasn't even on speakerphone, screaming, cussing, saying that we were down here intimidating. He felt like we were all down here and that was intimidating to him. I heard him say, you should be a man and come down here and be able to talk to me and stuff like that, and just screaming. And I like Derek, but I mean, that was definitely out of line.
Okay, thank you. You have anybody else?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, just a second, Mr. Holmes, we have
Hi, Jason Munsell, volunteer at the fire station.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
So I don't
Okay.
know a whole lot about everything too. I've met Derek a couple times. I don't know Pete or anybody. I just know, I've known Chief since February, I think.
we're here.
And
Just hold on one second.
I
Hold on.
know that his character, me.
1 second.
He's lagging.
Mr. Holmes, we'll be with you in just a second. We have another witness that's speaking right now.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, and so I've known Chief since February, and I've only seen good things. I've seen him in there, like, busting his butt to do everything that he can for everybody, and he's always on top of everything. I can't say what facts are facts. I know there's a tiff between you two, and I don't know what that is about, but it'd be nice if we could just get past that and not have to deal with this kind of thing, taking up hours of our days for no reason, so, I don't know, that's all.
okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming today. Do we have anybody else that would like to speak at this time? Mr. Holmes, the fire chief has alleged that for us to have him pull that boat with the vehicle that we have in service here, that would be breaking the law. And that, so I just want your thoughts on that. Are you there?
That's all we have. Mr. Holmes,
Oops.
I guess I wouldn't mind asking that question. You know, you say you'd be breaking the law if we were to tow that boat. Is there something that specifically says?
Yes,
Hey,
ma'am.
Derek, I'm sorry, I guess we keep dropping the call or something. I'm watching you on YouTube.
That's okay. So the question that we've had, Mr. Holmes, is, the fire chief has alleged that for us to pull that boat with that vehicle would be breaking the law, in Florida law. Are you aware of that? And if in fact, is that the case?
Well, breaking the law, I don't know. You may be operating the vehicle and the trailer in violation of a statute that prescribes, I think he cited that every boat or trailer that carried more than 3,000 pounds had to have operational brakes. But breaking the law, you would very well have an issue of liability if you were operating the vehicle in a way that was in excess of or in violation of the statute regarding safety equipment. Maybe you would be. The problem I have is, again, that's the sort of thing that should have been, in my opinion, and maybe I'm going beyond what you asked, but if there was an operational issue such as no brakes. Now, he told me during our conversation with Derek, when Captain Major Usher was president, Derek and myself and him, I asked him what he meant by brakes, and he said, well, the trailer has brakes, but we don't have the hookup on the truck to activate them. And so I was like, you mean use the fifth wire, I mean, they're electric brakes? And he said, yes, but I don't know whether they are or not. Oftentimes brakes on a trailer of that type were surge brakes, but my question was, well, you know, that's an easy fix. I mean, you can have a wire run real quickly. So if that was his concern as a department head, that it didn't have operational brakes, again, I don't understand why that wouldn't have been something that he would have pointed out instead of saying he needed a new vehicle, or a different vehicle or whatever. So, you know, he said the same thing during our conversation. He said, so if I get in a wreck, taking that thing down to the boat ramp, then the city's gonna have liability, or you're gonna put the city in danger or something to that effect. And I said, well, you know, first of all, if it's a mile that we've got to travel and we've got 2 kids' lives at stake, you kind of have to balance the risk from my perspective. And that's probably offering an opinion that you didn't ask for, but I responded to him. And then, secondly, again, if that was the only hang-up, then I don't understand why those specifics weren't referenced instead of saying we don't have a vehicle to tow with, however that email reads. So I hear what he's saying now about, and I would not advocate that vehicle be used on a regular basis to tow the boat, even though, as you said a minute ago, we've all run around boats and water, and I'm sure I've towed vehicles, boats and things with vehicles that technically by spec might not have met safeguards. Usually what everybody does is look at the tow rating. It says 5,000 pounds, that's what you go by. You don't normally write for a motor company. But having said that, if he felt that was the concern, no brakes on the trailer that operate, even though he told me it had brakes, that the problem was not the trailer, it was the activation from the vehicle. But if that was the problem, then again, I do understand Derek's concern that that information wasn't conveyed, so that you, as a chief administrator, you could make some operational decisions. Okay, do I, for a short term in an emergency, do I have the wire run for $150 so that there's at least something we can make a 1 mile tow with, or do I just say, okay, this can't tow the vehicle or the boat at all? I think he did tell us that the boat weighed more than 5,000 pounds when we were in that conversation, and I did express my doubts at that it weighed more than 5,000 pounds or almost 6,000 pounds. The Carolina skiff, 21 feet long, I just didn't think it did. But, you know, I guess to go back to your question, I would not, for liability purposes, I would not advise that vehicle be used to tow the boat without braking capacity. If he's correctly citing a statute that says that it has to have brakes if it's more than 3,000 pounds. But I don't know whether or not that braking capacity could have been as easily established by simply, again, adding a wire that connects the brake lights of the vehicle to the brake activation on the trailer, which is a whole different issue than saying we don't have anything to tow it with. So, and then of course the tow capacity, I honestly don't know. Like I said, when we had our meeting where all this was explained to him, the city manager's right about that. I think went into everything that you're hearing now at that meeting. And I will specifically ask, could he bring somebody if he wanted to? And my response to Derek was he'd bring whoever he wants. Didn't make any effort to try to foreclose him having representation of whatever kind at that meeting we had. But at that point, my understanding was, first it was, well, the tow rating isn't, vehicle won't tow it. It's rated for 5,000 pounds and the boat weighs 5,700 or something like that. And I doubted that. And then we got to the brake issue, and I asked him, what are you saying about the brakes? The trailer doesn't have brakes. He said, no, it has brakes. It just doesn't have the connection so that I can activate them from the truck. So, again, I guess details, certainly. I guess someone has to draw a conclusion about, why they weren't included. But you know, the point is they weren't included, and if I read the email Derek sent to me, I said, "Jack, you know, it looks like he's saying he didn't have anything to tow it with, but when was that made known? I mean, when was the issue of brakes or the tow capacity or the specifics so that you could look at his reasoning and maybe it would dissuade you from believing he simply wanted, another truck." So that was my concern at the meeting, and I probably voiced it just that way, actually, that, if I had been in Derek's position, I would have probably felt like I'd been misled a little bit, whether intentional or not. And during that conversation, it was determined he wasn't on duty at that day, he wasn't in the town that day. And so I'm asking, even when he wrote the emails, I understand that he wasn't in town or on duty. And I'm like, well, where'd the information come from? You read that email, it looks like it's a statement, this. And then he said, well, he got it from the guy who actually responded. So it was relayed secondhand that, they couldn't respond. Had to come from 30 minutes away because they didn't have anything to tow with, which I would assume that he had a broken down vehicle or something in the station. And, and Usry was there, Mr. Usry, and he, I think during the meeting said that they looked at the CAD and they weren't dispatched. That's all we had at that point was, him saying he looked at the CAD.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess I have one more question. You stated a moment ago that you met CETO.
Yes, ma'am.
So you came over and met CETO?
The day before, yeah, on the 11th.
No, the day that they responded.
On the 11th, yes, ma'am. It was the day before the second boat crash. I'm at CETO at the boat ramp. But to answer Commissioner Burton's question, the state statute is 316.
Okay, I'll take with that.
Section 4, 7, and 8.
It's on a motor vehicle.
It-
So it's under the motor vehicle.
Yes,
It's under
ma'am,
motor
which
vehicle.
requires the
Okay,
braking
so
and the braking.
So it's not criminal necessarily, but it is a motor vehicle violation.
And also to answer his question, Mr. Martin knew about this since 310. The braking issue is nothing new. This has been known. That's why he gives us spare trucks. I know he's trying to spin it and say he was unaware of that, but why would he give us spare trucks?
Okay.
Can I just say one thing?
I'm ready.
I think Don makes a pretty good point when he said you are the head of the department, and if the head of the department came in and said, look, I need this brake to be,
I did since 310.
Well-
I've been relaying this.
all I'm saying is it would seem to me like you could have pushed that. That's all. You are the head. So,
I don't know what more I can
I
do.
can
Okay.
attest that
Okay.
he was pushing it.
Yes,
Can I ask a comment?
yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'd like to ask it to Stacy?
Cassandra,
Cassandra.
yeah, Cassie.
Cassie,
Yes, ma'am.
you said when I called the chief and I was talking to the chief, you guys decided to come down for support. How do you know what I was talking to the chief about?
No, I didn't know that you.
Okay, if you would, can you come up? Thank you. Sorry about that.
So we were in class during the time that he stepped away, and he said he needs to go down to the city hall immediately. He didn't say exactly for what. I told them, because I think there was a meeting the day prior, I believe, that we could not come to, or I knew there was a meeting coming up. So I contacted the people who contacted us to schedule to come down for a character witness, which I knew a few of them had already spoke with you, I believe, the day prior. So I texted them. He said, after here, I have to leave and go down to the city hall immediately. He says, not sure why, but I was told as soon as I leave here, I need to go down there. So I text the people. I said, well, it sounds like maybe we need to go down and talk to them sooner as a character witness. I don't know if he called or texted, but he did step out during our class.
So you decided to call the rest of the team just because he was coming to a meeting?
There was a group text that we had already set up to come. I believe it was Friday, or I'm not sure exactly what day. Or the following week, I think it was a Tuesday. We were gonna come down because there was a meeting. He knew of some issue, not sure exactly what. During the class, he steps out, and I could just tell something wasn't right. He says, I don't know, I just need to go down there as soon as we're done with this class. So we need to like, hurry up. You could definitely tell him this, you know,
Thank you.
and do,
I have one question. At any time were you told, or was anybody told, or was it in your text that, your jobs also could be in jeopardy?
no.
And so, Mayor, we, have a statement from,
A sworn statement.
from Eric Smith
Okay.
as well on what was said between him and the chief on that call.
The call that.
The original call.
The original call. Okay.
For the kids in the water.
Okay.
On Huntington, and the complete statement contradicts what the chief has told me in this email.
Okay, commissioners, do you have any other questions? This is always this is, the most unpleasant part of what we do. I know you did give Chief Razor an opportunity to resign, and I believe you even held any of the paperwork or any of
All of them?
your email
Yes, ma'am.
until today.
Yes.
If you would like that letter, I'll have it for you.
Letter from,
Letter of resignation. Because I can't, with sound mind, break the law and be targeted and harassed when I'm bringing proof, state statute, have full backing of my fire station, just because the information I relayed to Mr. Martin, as stated, was not completely confirmed until 16 days later. We asked for the trailer brakes. Since March, that we've been given trucks. He's spinning this situation to make me look like I kept dropping the ball. When the brakes have been asked for, the laws have been put in place. I followed everything. I didn't break any policies, didn't break any procedures, had no complaints. I've done everything I can to make this department, and as you heard from the personnel, the best I could possibly do. And apparently, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do.
Okay, first off, I believe that the trailer brakes, if he's providing vehicles, still the trailer brake should have been taken care of regardless of whatever vehicle he's
I agree,
providing.
and we asked for that.
So those are two different, whether he's providing a vehicle or not, the trailer brakes,
I agree.
in my
That has
opinion,
been a request.
should be, yes. And that's an easy fix.
I agree.
So, yes,
I don't know where we are in this meeting, but this will be the last that I'm gonna speak of this, and I'm gonna look at you, chief. I have been proud of you. I thought you have done a big turnaround since the day that you came. You and I have had multiple meetings, unofficial, but multiple meetings. I haven't written you up. I kept documentation on the meetings so I can know dates. I've given you several data boys, and I've been very proud of how you turned around the people in your department to follow you. The day that everybody came up here, I felt very intimidated because you received a private phone call to just receive a document. And we had all the firefighters up here.
Again, she just testified it was not.
Please let me finish. I probably raised my voice at you, absolutely. I do not recall cussing at you. I don't cuss at my employees. I don't do that. I just don't do that. I did raise my voice and ask you, why would you get everybody to come down there? That is intimidating. I never once threatened your job at all. And it was not disciplinary. I put you on paid administrative leave while we could get the facts and the data. As soon as I did, I brought it to you. But I'm gonna say this, and I'll say this lastly. You got and received a raise, and I told you how good you have done. This is not personal. This is not an attack. This was information at a very high level that you gave me that was inaccurate and short. You didn't finalize gathering your data. You are the chief. You're the chief. You work for the county. You can make phone calls.
That information.
Please let me finish. Please let me
I
finish.
think that we're
Mayor.
good.
Thank you.
Yes,
Alright.
Commissioner DeVito.
I did have one final follow-up question
Okay.
for the chief.
Yes, ma'am.
First, chief, I appreciate everything that you've done here, and it's my understanding that we hired you as a part-time chief, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And just share with us, to remind us and anyone who's listening, you are also employed by another department. Could you share what that department is and what your rank is there?
I can I ask the reasoning behind that? This is city business and doesn't involve that department on our ranking there.
Do you work for a public agency?
I do.
Yeah, I think it's very relevant. We hired you because of your experience and what you do. Regardless of what happens today, it's my understanding you will still have employment as a firefighter. Is that not correct?
I will. I will have employment. It will not look good. But I felt that if I came here and pled my case and explained the situation to where we have asked for this and where I've asked for breaks and where we past practice of the trucks and the way that I was treated by our city manager, that the commission would maybe do a progressive punishment if they saw something wrong, a written reprimand, a write-up, a suspension, not just straight determination. That was never discussed, and as stated, my original document said this was non-disciplinary, which goes back to Mr. Holmes' statement of why I didn't bring a witness with me, because I was told it was non-disciplinary, which again breaks the firefighter bill of rights. As I keep saying, I keep following state statutes and laws. I'm staying within boundaries. I'm staying within what I'm supposed to. The information I provided to Mr. Martin, as stated, was sent on the 12th. I didn't get the follow-up information to the 28th. I provided as most accurate as I could.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, and I, Donna, I'm gonna ask you, did you hear what his statement was? Did you hear his statement?
Only in part. I walked out of the room where the YouTube was on because it seemed to be interfering with the phone conversation. So what I heard was him saying that he cited the statutes that he believes he relied upon, although he didn't cite any of those during my meeting with him and Derek, as I've indicated. And he said he's followed all procedures and that he had all protocols, etc. That's what I heard him say.
And I do want to say that, never mind. Dawn, if you would, give us some directive here to make sure that we proceed properly. It appears that Chief Razor has a resignation letter. Is that correct, Chief Razor?
Unless the commission sees fit to reinstate me, I will resign.
Okay, and he has said that, now, of course, we have not taken a vote, so he doesn't know where we stand at this point.
Well, the letter of resignation at this point probably is not that significant to me, because I think that if it's his desire to challenge your action, then he's going to characterize that letter of resignation or his resignation as a forced resignation. Had it come, earlier before the hearing or soon after, even during the meeting that we had earlier, then maybe not. But at this point, whether he resigns or is fired, from my perspective, he's going to, in my opinion, it's very probable that he would assert that his resignation was forced. So that doesn't really matter to me from the city's legal perspective whether he resigns or is terminated, unless he's basically saying that his resignation is voluntary and he doesn't consider it to be forced. If he were to say that, then perhaps that might change my mind. So from my perspective at this point, going back to what Commissioner DeVito had asked me earlier about reason for termination, I would affirm what I said then and what I think was her basic question, and that was, is it necessary that you find fault in order to terminate it? And the answer is no. If there's a loss of confidence by the city manager, and I will tell you that when we finished with our meeting, and anyone that was there would have to agree, including Chief Razor, I asked if it was possible if they were to not take any action at that point and take a cooling off period if they thought they could resolve their differences. If the city manager felt like any conversation was going to restore his confidence in the chief, and I can't see visual now, but the city manager said that he felt like the trust was broken and it couldn't be regained. Is that correct, Mr. Martin?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So, I mean, at that point, I was saying, okay, if it was unintentional, if the email he sent was unintentionally misleading or wasn't intended to be interpreted the way it was, and as I've already said, I interpreted it the same way Derek did. There had been a life-threatening event where 2 kids' lives were at stake, and we didn't respond, requiring someone from 30 minutes away to respond. That email in itself, in my opinion, was very damning from the city's perspective. Should there have been 2 kids drowned and people started trying to find fault. The email from the chief saying he couldn't respond because he didn't have equipment was very damning in and of itself. But I question whether or not it's possible that any kind of misunderstanding could be eliminated by some conversation or whatever if we got past that date. And the city manager said that his trust was broken. And I assumed there was more in that statement than just the most recent event, but I don't know that for a fact. And so at that point I said, okay, I mean, that's where we are. So from my perspective, sometimes you reach a point where you've got a superior and a subordinate, and if they just aren't going to be able to work together, you got to make a choice. But I would rather the choice not be made based upon a finding of intentional wrongdoing. I would just rather it not be based on a finding of intentional wrongdoing, but rather on a finding that the obvious relationship between the city manager and the chief is such so it's not reasonable to believe that they're going to have a good working relationship, an acceptable working relationship, and we're talking here about a department that is a life safety department. So that's what I'm hearing. Obviously, I'm just one. You are all free to draw your own conclusion, but that's what I'm hearing.
So basically, based on irreconcilable differences, you just don't feel that they would be able to reconcile based on the conversation you had. Is that correct?
Well, that's what I've heard, but if you heard something differently, it really isn't me to make the decision.
No, I know. I just want to,
That's what I've heard at that meeting, and I'm not hearing anything different today unless I missed something and, somebody can speak up. But what I'm hearing is, now, if anything, it seems like the situation is being exacerbated because, of accusations that are being made by the chief and denials by the city manager. So, I mean, realistically, do you think these folks can go back together and work in a communicative and cooperative relationship as chief and city manager? Maybe they can. Maybe your take on it. Your take on it should be what you rely on, not mine.
okay.
But I
We
do not.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner DeVito.
I would like to offer a motion if it's time for that.
Okay.
Mayor, so regretfully, I would like to move that we accept Chief Razor's letter of resignation with recognizing his contributions to the department and leadership and bringing it up to a level as indicated by our city manager, but that we are accepting this resignation because of clear, irreconcilable working relationship. I'm sorry, am I saying the wrong thing?
No, so are you accepting his resignation or the city manager's recommendation? Okay.
I'm accepting
Okay.
his
Okay.
resignation that he has offered, and the reason for doing so is the lack of a good working relationship between the city manager and the fire chief, and differing philosophies that they apparently have.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we have a proper motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Yeah, my discussion, this was brought to us by the,
Just
this was brought to us by the manager.
Yeah.
I would think that the motion would be, that we actually, I guess accept it, if you want to accept the resignation, but it's really because of the manager brought this motion
Okay,
to
well,
us.
two things. I'm just saying why I made the motion, why I made it. Number one, the city attorney certainly recommended that we not specify any specific problems, and he noted himself that there seemed to be just an irreconcilable relationship between the two. And as well, out of respect to Chief Razor, he has offered his letter of resignation. The city manager told us that he would accept that letter of resignation. Is that not correct?
Yes, that was correct. Prior to this meeting, he was given that opportunity.
And, okay, and the city manager has said that the fire chief has done very positive things for the department. So, I think out of courtesy to Chief Razor, I think that out of courtesy to Chief Razor and recognizing his positive contributions, we should accept his letter of resignation. I know if it was me or any other employee, I would like to extend them that courtesy. And does the city manager have any objection?
I have a comment. I can reconcile with anybody. Up to this point, he's been given the information and the time. I have received no phone call apologizing for the misrepresentation in the email. A person in your position should have reached out to someone in my position and said, I messed up, and we wouldn't even be here today. That is why we're here, and it has to do with trust, not being reconciled. This is a loss of trust and confidence in the position.
Okay, we have a motion, we currently have a motion on the table to accept the resignation. My concern, yes, please do, because I have some concerns about the way the motion was stated. Yes, sir.
So maybe I didn't understand it, but I heard the motion being to accept his resignation should he now tender it.
Yes.
Without any specific finding of any fault, so to speak, on his part, but with a recognition that because of the conversations, evidence that's been presented, it's pretty apparent that it'd be very difficult for the chief and the city manager to reconcile their differences and work together cooperatively for the benefit of the town and its citizens. And I'm paraphrasing a bunch, but is my understanding correct?
Yes, that's fine.
I certainly would have no objection to that motion being passed. Now, should the chief decide not to tender his resignation, then that leaves it open for a different motion.
Okay. My only question is with this motion, as you stated earlier, that if he's given a voluntary resignation versus a forced resignation. And so that's my concern. That's my concern with the motion as it's currently stated, Don, because you specifically stated that.
I don't think you can do anything to cure that. In other words, if he's going to tender the resignation, then he can argue later on that it was forced if he wants to, but he has the option of not tendering.
Okay.
Right now, and there's nothing you can do that would keep him from being able to say later on that it was a forced resignation. But at least you're giving the opportunity without a finding of fault for him to resign just based upon, as y'all put it, sort of paraphrasing, you right, to solve the differences. I have no objection to the motion.
Okay, thank you. I wanted clarification. Thank you. Okay, any more discussion? We currently have a proper motion and a second to accept Chief Razor's resignation. Would you do a roll call for us, please?
Commissioner Burton?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner DeVille?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lori?
Aye.
Mayor Myers?
Aye.
So approved.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, people. I really try. One question. My personal equipment is at the fire station. Am I allowed? Okay. Thank you.
Mayor, before we move on to the next order of business, could I just make one follow-up to, yes, we've heard a lot of information today. It is apparent to me that, our resigning chief and the city manager have a different philosophy about how we provide equipment for the department. And I've heard that difference ever since we discussed the talk about getting a new fire truck and the need for the fire truck. And again, I heard the city manager say very clearly his philosophy about you do the best you can with what you have. And then the chief's philosophy was you have to be very specific in meeting codes. My feeling is that, and then Don, our city attorney, mentioned the issue of liability and using judgment. To me, I think that it's important for us as a commission to, especially as we're doing the budget and making the long-term capital improvement plan, to really have a good talk with the city manager about where we are in the equipment for the agency, simply to make sure, I mean, obviously we don't want to spend money that we don't have to, but to make sure that our employees and volunteers are using the right equipment, that we're doing the best response we can, and that we're not creating any liability. I just think when we take up the budget, we really need to look at, maybe even impartially get another opinion, what are our needs for this fire department? Because we had some breakdown issues, and I'm not suggesting we go into them today. I'm suggesting that that's something we take into consideration when we set the budget and just talk about funding.
And that's a conversation we have to bring in also the county, because the county provides a lot of our equipment.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
And especially with where we're going, not knowing where we're gonna be going in the future.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely.
If it's okay, I'm gonna go ahead and leave now.
Okay, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. You have a good Friday. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so I believe, let me make sure, it appears that if I haven't gotten a text, or any of you haven't gotten a text,
Oh,
yeah, time passed.
congratulations. First time to do that.
But
We've been reelected.
it's only a quarter of one. How do we know who's done what?
Well, we haven't-
Charles would have, he would have contacted us, I'm sure, contacted somebody. He was yesterday making sure that nobody had reached out. And so,
Oh, you mean come to ask about qualifying at
Yes.
City Hall?
yes,
Yeah, there's quite a lot up there. Well, we'll,
so,
next time, check.
Congratulations.
Well, if no one filed, congratulations to you.
I can text him
I hit my first 4-year term.
now. I spoke to, I just,
Yeah.
okay, so where did Derek go?
You went outside.
He went outside.
Can I take 5 minutes?
I'm gonna take, like a 5-minute recess
I need to defrost.
You need to reach
to
out.
defrost. I know, I'm shaking. Commissioner Are we good? Do I need to do anything?
We open from recess.
Oh, you can click it if you wanna.
Huh?
Oh, BJ, are you?
You can teach me how to click it, I'll let it come
Just a
on.
record. It's just a red
Y'all
button.
with me on my phone.
I promise you, it's just one button.
Okay.
Whenever
We
you're
good? Okay. This meeting is back in session, a special meeting, and I think, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to tell the commission, thank you again for being here today, and I'm very sorry that I had to bring this to you all. It's the last thing I wanted to do. I wanted to extend my hand to Chief Razor while the officer was outside, to just apologize that this was not personal. And that, I wish him well, and his exact comments to me was that I burned a bridge and I'm gonna regret it. And I just want to put it out there, state fact.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You burned it.
That I burned a bridge.
I see. Oh, okay. I just wanted to get that straightened out there.
Yeah, not you, not you. That's what he told me.
Okay.
Okay, so the second part of our meeting today, we're here to discuss the budget. We have some workshops coming up, I believe some conferences, and I believe Vice Mayor Lori has, I want to say it's, what is it? Correct me if I'm wrong, $1,400, sir? That's the total?
Well, the 1,070, because I have $40 in my budget.
Okay.
How much does he have in his budget? You have it, Steve?
Currently, right now, we see $207.52 in the budget.
But there was, that $200 that was not supposed to be, that was voided. And then the $209 was registration for palms, so that should go to the CRA.
Okay, so then maybe you can overview that.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, 209 should go to the CRA?
Yeah, because it was to go to palms, it was my registration fee.
And you said it's
It was
1,070?
$1,470.
14, so 1,070.
Yes.
For what now? What are we doing here?
So what we're looking at is our budgets, make a decision today on how we can fund the travel for the Florida League of Cities, correct, down south? So, going over our numbers, preliminary look at just the commission, line items, we don't have it in there. It's not in there. However, Plan
When you
B,
say it's not in there, are you saying that the money is already spent for this year?
well, I'm saying there's some money left, but not enough to cover.
Not
Okay.
Commissioner.
Well,
Not the commissioner or lawyer's line item.
Okay, so how much money is left?
Well, we had calculated 207, but Commissioner Lori just informed us that we have to move some money around out of his commission line into the CRA, so he'll have what, he'll have an additional $200, I believe.
Right.
So it should be what?
1,070 is what.
So what's he got left?
I've got your phone. You want your phone?
Like that.
I've done all kinds. Thanks.
I don't know how you keep them straight.
While he's doing that, while he's calculating that, I do want to congratulate both of you. You are unopposed, and so you have been reelected.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
209, and how much was that, 209? That was supposed to be going to CRA?
Yeah.
209 flat, or was there change?
Yeah, it's 209.
Okay, so there's 400, currently right now, there'd be $416.52 in Commissioner Vice Mayor Lori's, Group 2.
Right.
Budget, $416.52.
Okay.
And how much does he need?
1,470 is the total.
1,470 for this particular thing?
Yes.
Wait, the total balance needed that you're short.
Is 1,000,
That I'm short.
it's $1,053.48.
Okay, so he just takes it out of his budget for next year,
Yeah.
pays for it.
Can't
I'm
do
serious.
that. You can't do that.
Okay.
It's in the budget.
So my question is, as far as I know, I am planning to use all of my training money because I will be going to the conference in Hallandale, the League of Cities annual conference, and I'm pretty sure that there's a conference fee that I have not asked for reimbursement for. If I had anything left, I would ask that that be spent on Commissioner Lori's fund.
This is a lot of money right here.
Okay, let's let her finish, let her
So
finish.
my question is there any other commissioner training line where that commissioner knows for sure that they would not be using all of their training money? Or is everyone, planning to use their maximum?
Well, you of course know that I haven't used any of mine. Okay, so I've got that, but I do not use mine so that others can use it. I incur a lot of those costs on my own, and that typically goes back to the city. I did talk to them earlier about hopefully putting that over into the, insurance portion, as you noticed, where they're trying to separate it out when they do the balance adjustment.
Right.
So, where's Commissioner DeVito's? What's her balance? What's her current balance?
Current balance is 1175 unexpended,
11,
1,175.
that she has available.
That she has available currently to date. And I just did some math. We have in the budget right now, money left over after the 500 you all just released under aid to private organization. We have $300 left in that line item. We also have an additional $359.34 under other charges that we could use for a total of $659.34 in the actual commissioner's fund.
But we haven't contributed to the library.
We haven't contributed to the library.
And historically, we have contributed to the library.
And that's usually 300, correct?
Yes.
And we've done 500 in the
Okay.
past. Last year, we did 300.
So that was zero, that was zero, so.
Right. So then we only need 300.
So how much do
Or, I'm sorry, 360.
I plan to, attend the emo, the second part of that.
That's in October.
Is that
That would be the
in
next-
October? So
that's
that
the
would be the
next one.
next, that would be the next fiscal.
Currently, right now, Commissioner Moore has $958.13 left in your budget for training.
Yeah, I have some.
So there.
I have none.
Burton, you have $60. Commissioner Burton, you have $60
Can I have
and 26
$60?
cents.
Well,
And if any of you are gonna go to the, League of Cities, Northeast Florida League of Cities meeting in Palaca, make sure, I don't know how you do that, if you fund it out of that, that's $35.
Is that in October?
That'll be in September.
September.
Yeah, I'll see, I'll be going to that.
So that will be in,
$100.
that will be in September, so I'm just making sure that you're aware of that. I don't know how you,
Where is this going?
Okay.
Mr. Moore, I'll pay for your September meeting.
What I think bothers me here, and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. You know, BJ had $1,500, now you're gonna give him another $1,053. So are you gonna, make his budget next year $2,107, so he can go to everything he wants next year? Is that what's gonna happen here? I mean, because this is something, I mean, it takes, you gotta fit what you want in $1,500, I guess is what I wanna say. So I'm not sure what he spends money on, and I really, it's his deal, okay? But you get $1,500, and anything past $1,500, you shouldn't be using everybody else's money.
Okay, and could I? Because that's a policy opinion. I have another policy viewpoint to share. Thank you, ma'am. So, I think, in 2018, when I came on to the commission, I think it was $1,200.
$1,200.
Right, that was given. And, the late Commissioner Hardy, talked about, because he was a young man with a family, and he talked about how it was very difficult to go even to the annual conference from the Florida League of Cities, which on the years when they hold it down for Lauderdale, he said, you know, if you really do what you do as an employee and claim not just the conference fee, but the hotel, the gas, and the meals, it adds up quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's always taken some personal money. I use all my conference training money, but rarely have I claimed gas more meals. Right, so, but
Let her finish.
what I want to say is, so we raised it to 1,500 because the conference fees have gone up every year. So I would just like to share that I don't think there's too much more important than having commissioners be trained and understand the workings of what goes on in the city and how to do things the right way. I know just came out from League of Cities this year that Commissioner Moore earned her bronze certificate, right? Because you went to EMO 1, right? She went to that. Commissioner Lori, I think, has earned his gold certificate for the 3rd year in a row, right? And I earned my gold certificate for 2 years in a row. Before that, I got silver. But all of this stuff is not fun and games. It's not a junket. It's very nuts and bolts educational. And I just think that is a really valuable investment for the city. I don't know what other cities spend, but I think it's valuable. And the way you get the gold and silver and bronze certificates is you have to go to more than one training. And you can do some online, but I think Crescent City is better off, and I think it's important to go to the regional meetings as well, because I know when I go, I learn things there also. But I think training is important, and I don't fault anyone who needs more training money. And Commissioner Lori goes way beyond where he needs to go. Particularly, he's made himself an expert in cybersecurity. I think he was the only one of us to get your certification. Is that right? So, I don't think it's a mistake for us to spend a little more on training.
And
Well, here's what I would like to say.
He asked, let him, and then you finish up, Commissioner Burton. Yes, Commissioner Lori.
we had this discussion last year, and one of the things is I have to usually go down a day early, because I can't just drive down for an 8 o'clock meeting somewhere. It's too hard on me and Rachel. And one of the reasons, this is expensive is because I'm staying Saturday night, because it's just too far to turn around Saturday after we have a meeting and there's another event, and then go home from Hollywood, because that's just too long of a drive. I would come back early if I could, but it's not physically possible for me. We talked about that last year. I went to Tallahassee twice this year. That's one of the reasons I had more expenses. Once was for the Putnam County Days that nobody else attended. I represented Crescent City, and I noticed that we were there. And I did a good job representing the city and talked to a lot of people there. So I don't know. I feel really kind of discriminated against in a way. But I understand that, it's expensive for me to, last year you guys had no problem with this. We just moved the money and you said, okay, PJ special. This year it seems to be a problem. I don't understand.
We may have money, but here's my suggestion, is we need a raise it to $2,200 for each of us to be trained.
Yeah.
So just raise it.
Yes.
If I can, Mayor, thank you. This year, we originally had in our budget that we're working on to bring to you all, the same 1,500 we carried. We were going back and looking, in 2024, we had an average, we had $2,100 for one, $2,700 for another, $1,600 for one, and $74, and I'm not sure why that's so low for another. Next year, we had $1,487, $1,824, $1,800, and $1,400. I'm proposing in the budget to go to $2,000. If we maintain the level where we're at right now, and somebody, one or two of you all decide there's something else that comes up, we can have this other meeting to kind of shift things within the commissioner's, general profile here, under the general budget. So that is what we're proposing. We're gonna bring back to you all. I do know, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Vice Mayor Lori, there have been times too where the accommodations could be at one hotel and you had to go to another. It was further away. you had to go earlier, just like you had said. Steve and I was talking about that, it's happened twice. So I was gonna propose, a conversation should be had to probably put maybe a little bit more in that call for next year, just to cover those costs. But I am proposing to increase everybody's, so we can cover it all for everybody. That's very important.
Commissioner Lori, I will say this, with your last comment, and of course, nothing personal, but I do take offense to that, because I don't feel in any way that we have been discriminatory about your travel budget. And we have, had this conversation, not with you, but with all the commissioners every year. You're given a budget, watch your budget, just like you have to watch your house budget. Watch your budget, make sure that you're spending your dollars within your budget. Last year, we raised it for this very reason, because we didn't feel like it was enough. So if it's not enough, and here we are at the end of the year again, and it's not enough, but in no way is anybody, I mean, I believe everybody with the knowledge you bring back, we're appreciative. We're a small community, and budget is limited, and we have probably in more so than other communities, not provided the dollars for people to do and attend everything that they would like to attend. There's a lot of things that I would like to attend. I feel like many of those are overpriced for what you get. And that's probably my biggest concern is, are we getting the biggest bang for our buck for the amount of dollars that we're putting out there? And that's something that I think we all need to look at. But as far as being discriminatory, in no way I believe we're being discriminatory. This is a budget issue. And so, so what have you come up with, Mr. Martin?
What I come up with is right now, there's a shortfall of $694.14. That's what we need to be able to push over. We have it. We have $359.34 under other charges left over, and we have the $400 in his current account. So taking that into consideration, you would need to move $694.14 currently out of everybody. You may or.
What happened to the 1,000? What happened to the 1,000?
It's 1,053. Did I do that one correct?
What happened?
Oh, yeah, 1,053 minus the 359 would come up to the 694. And that 1,053 encompasses his current.
Where's the 359 coming from?
That would be coming from other charges.
So you're moving, so you're, as we verse a motion, that's what we're going to have to do, is we're going to have to do that first.
Yes, ma'am.
Is make sure that we've got these accurate and where we're moving them from, if the commission so pleases to do a motion for that.
Yes, ma'am. So currently it is other charges, account 511-3491. Under other charges, there's a current amount of $359.34.
Okay.
And so that leaves a deficit, or what a need would be at $694.14.
Commissioner Moore, sorry.
Yeah, you can, take from mine. What is it?
Right now, you have $958.13. Commissioner DeVito has $11.75, and the mayor has $1,500.
But Commissioner DeVito has spoken for it, because she's going to allocate.
Okay.
So you would take that 694 from, is what you're proposing that Commissioner Moore has forfeited hers.
Okay, so we could definitely do it out of that.
Okay.
But I have a question for Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Have you submitted everything from when you went to emo? And, okay, and that would, okay, so she has 900 and something left, and he needs 694. So that would leave Commissioner Moore enough to go to the Northeast Florida meeting.
Yeah, hope so.
Right, well, I just want to make sure, because we don't want you to give away your dinner before you had a chance.
Do you have, and you have nothing else for this next, for October 1st that you plan on attending?
No.
Okay.
Well, Mayor, if I could just.
That would leave
say one thing.
$263.99 in Commissioner Moore's account.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Commissioner DeVito.
I agree, there are lots of things that I think we all would love to go to. Frequently, we don't have the time from our individual lives or from our city meetings. There's so many things out there. There's regional meetings, state meetings, National League of Cities meetings. And I hope one day Crescent City gets to the point where we all have enough time to go and then even figure out how much it would cost. But we are small, that is true. And just right now, unless we fund it personally, I think there's a lot that is just completely out of reach. I agree with that.
And fortunately, through the internet, I mean, they're providing more and more online training so that we
Yes.
can do it in-house in the comfort of our own homes.
Yes.
And be able to do it, and be able to do it that way.
And
There's
that
not the
is
networking, I understand, you're not networking, you're not meeting those people face to face, and that is a very valuable component of attending these, to be able to meet people face to face, just like I've charged both of you with getting somebody here.
That's right.
With that, so I'll entertain, yes,
Sorry, the motion. Okay.
I'll entertain a motion.
So I would move that we authorize the city manager to move sufficient funds from other accounts, specifically the 511-3491, okay, of $359, and also funds from Commissioner Moore's unused training to fund Commissioner Lori's training for the Florida League of Cities annual conference in Orlando.
No.
No, I'm sorry, in Hollywood, right, and that it's a total of $1,053.48 that's needed, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second,
You're seconding it?
do you not want me to?
I'll
Just
second.
you know me
I don't-
to-
I'll second. I'll
She
second.
can second it, I won't vote. That's fine.
Commissioner Moore seconded it?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a current motion on the table, and a second, and so, we have any further discussion? No further discussion, Madam Clerk, if you do a roll call for us, please.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lori,
I'm abstaining.
Mayor Myers.
Aye.
Oh,
I don't know.
You can't
You
abstain.
can't
Well,
abstain.
I can make, you want me to make the
Well, I
second?
just don't know that you should have, I didn't say you couldn't make it, I just said, are you sure you want to?
Then I would vote
Well,
aye.
he can recuse, he can.
No,
Why not?
Well,
because
So
we're
you vote
moving
him.
money around, I know, but we're
For
moving the
him.
money around for his benefit, so.
Well,
But it doesn't endure.
So you know where it's going. He's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
say
not,
aye.
I
It's not going in
know,
our
but
pocket.
but wait a second, you cannot abstain if it's not, this is not for private gain, this is for his, yes.
well, no, actually, technically, my understanding is we are never allowed to abstain. The only
Yes.
thing we can do is to, what is the name of the form?
The Form 8B.
Yeah.
Right, we can say that we cannot vote because it would inure to our private gain. The issue is, we don't know legally whether this fits that definition. So, I mean, I don't think his vote's gonna make any difference. I don't know what the answer
I
is.
don't know, I would err on the side of caution,
So
because we're not supposed to abstain.
Right, we can't abstain, you
In
can,
some ways, it does,
you can
you know,
only,
if we decided we want to do this, okay, it's got to pay for it.
exactly.
So it does actually give him money for, personal gain.
That's what I'm saying, the choice would be to file the form to say it inures to his private
It
benefit.
kind of does this.
Right,
So would
but
you
that would
like
be
to,
the
would
only
you
I
do
will
that?
file the Form 8B.
Okay, so he'll do that, so he is going to abstain, and I-
You can jump on
and
it.
I vote in affirmative.
Yeah, of course, I'm saying, yeah.
Okay,
Everybody.
so approved.
And I just have one question to ask you about the conference.
Yes.
Okay, so we are trying to have a town hall meeting in Crescent City, and potentially, did we say inviting other South
Yes.
Putnam folks? Do you have any idea, is anyone in the county planning to have a town hall?
Not that I've been made aware of, but I will tell you this, I spoke to the mayor of Orange Park this morning. She had, said that they met actually with their property appraiser. That their property appraiser was holding something, so we might reach out to Clay, and see what he can do. She said, and their legislator. So that was an option too, came in and spoke to them.
Not as a town hall.
But, no, not as a town hall, but did come in, oh yeah, for the public, for the general public, yes.
They could.
For the general public. She also said something that I thought was very interesting, that it was brought up in that meeting. And this is something that we should, they're working on the language, they had 10 days for the language. There's question out there, will they get it, will they not get it? I'm sure, and from what I've been told, they've been working on it and there's backup language ready to go. We don't know that, but we'll see what happens and if the judge accepts it. But that another community, that they put signs up in their park and said that this park is funded through ad valorem dollars.
I would be careful
I know,
about
but
what we
But,
do.
but I thought that was very interesting that they had, to bring to people's attention as to, that's not going back and forth, that's factual. And they said we could share facts, but we would have to have that checked out and make sure from a legal standpoint, if that would even be acceptable. But I thought, that was very, that was a neat way of doing that.
It is, I mean, maybe we would need to put signs on more than just one thing.
Yes. Oh,
and
yes.
More,
Oh, absolutely.
but yes, if you can do it in a way, it's to make it purely informational.
And that's it. She said it was purely informational, and I thought that was very innovative that they kind of went around that and said, yeah, you're right. And she said it's educational. A lot of people don't know how those parks, that they just magically appear, they're magically taken care of, and who pays for it. And I think that's what a lot of this comes down to. So yeah, so if you talk to them, please, if there's anything, I haven't checked my emails today, but if there's anything that they're able to provide, or if nothing else, we can do it ourselves and provide the slides.
It has a slide deck.
They have that slide deck that they've provided, that we could do that. We could do that ourselves. And we're looking at September 1st, or if there's a date that would better fit them. It's just nice to have somebody in person, so there could be a question and answer in case the general public had question and answers. And I know individually, if we wanted to individually, also be able to, we just have to be very, very careful in how we present.
And they would know how to do that.
And they would know how to do that. And that would be my concern across the board, is making sure. And I do want to share that I just recently was appointed to the Northeast Florida Regional Council. So I didn't know.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I didn't know. So when you're talking about time,
Yeah.
yes, every Thursday, but the last Thursday. So do not schedule anything on the last Thursday of any month. Because that's, I said every Thursday now. But yes, that was, and that I had my first meeting, and I had kind of my overview, my orientation, I guess, and very enlightening, and it's a lot, and I had no idea the resources that they can offer, and Beth has.
Palms was the EDD from South Central Florida. There's like 5 counties, and they talked about all the stuff that they do. And I knew about some of it, but there was a lot more.
And that was through the one that I encouraged, and they went to, I believe, Derek, Bonnie, and 2 of our planning and zoning.
We went to Keystone Heights for that.
Yeah, they went to Keystone for a planning training that they had, a day-long planning training. So they, but a lot of the things that they're involved in that they can help us with, was So hopefully I can bring some things back from that.
Lisa, and Mayor, speaking of planning, I noticed that Scott King was here for part of the meeting. I wasn't sure why he was here. Some of us were at the most recent public information meeting on the central business district. There were a lot of questions, and the Zeb Cohen firm did a slideshow presentation that was the first time I had ever seen it presented that way. I really think, well, I am losing confidence in Zeb Cohen's ability to guide a small town through the nuances of planning that we need. There were a lot of people that did not feel, according to what they said to me, to be well treated. And I know Scott King has sent us quite a few emails.
When you say a lot of people, how many people are you talking about, do you think?
Oh, I would say almost everyone who spoke to me who was there, probably 7 or 8. That was, and I didn't ask them. People would buttonhole me, grab my elbow around town or whatever and say I was at the meeting. And I didn't feel respected. I didn't understand. If you read Scott King's emails or you heard his comments at the meeting, I think he's fairly representative of at least some of the people who were there. I can't say all, but there are a lot of concerns, and I'm concerned about their ability to really adequately explain things as opposed to convince people. There's a difference, and y'all may feel differently, but I sat there and I listened and I watched, and some people, I have not asked them how they felt about it. They have come forward to tell me that they did not feel happy or secure, or they did not come out of that meeting with a positive feeling. And that's not a good thing
Did they opt out? Did those people opt out? Do you know?
Some of them were agonizing over whether to opt out. But my main point is that, the Zeb Cohen firm is our substitute for a full-time planner. They represent the city. And I think it's important that when people deal with a department of the city or a contracted department of the city, they feel confident and they come away with a good feeling about it. I think Zeb Cohen is competent. I am very sure that when we have rezonings, and like the one we had on the agenda the other night, that it's always going to be technically correct, that we are not going to get sued because we didn't do a rezoning or future land use amendment the correct way. My concern more is, do people feel that they are being well served by our contracted planning department? And I haven't had a chance to read Scott King's very last email with some specific requests, but anyway.
I haven't heard that. Nobody's really come to me. I know sometimes that there's that Mark is no fluff.
No.
He definitely has, he's
got a poor bedside manner, I guess.
Yes, as a doctor, but even as if you go into a surgeon, I'd much rather him be a good surgeon than to be nice to me, but, and that's interesting because I talked to the Pearson mayor the other day, and he also serves them.
Right.
And, so I just haven't heard that from the general population, when I'm out and about, so.
Yeah, I did, and I have to say, I have felt many times that his explanations aren't always clear, and they're not always the same. Part of it is, well, I agree with Commissioner Burton. His bedside manner, or rather his public forward-facing manner, it's just, you have to be clear. If you're not clear, then people get suspicious, they're confused, they feel like they've wasted their time. There could be a number of bad results.
Well, unfortunately, I could not be at the meeting. I did want to be, but we had already planned something when they
Oh, sure.
scheduled the meeting
I
without
wasn't at the
asking
first
our,
one.
our attention.
I couldn't be, so.
I was at the first one. So,
Yeah.
Commissioner Burton.
No, I just wanted to say, you know, I don't go to very many planning meetings. But I will say this, you know, I hear enough from people that people, you know, I forget when we did our last vision for the city. How long ago was that?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago. I really think that we need to revisit that a little bit, because there are a lot of people that they don't really know where it's going anymore. I think, with this opting out and opting in and all the stuff that we're trying to do here on Central Avenue is nothing, because we really don't have anything there. It is confusing to people. And I think most people would like to see a plan, basically, I mean, just a basic plan on how we're gonna grow that city, how we can visualize our city in the future. Okay, and it's not with just the 3 buildings that are there, you know, the 3 brick buildings that are there and the wood buildings that are falling apart there. We have to start to build a city, you know, or a Central Avenue. And so I think we need to really look at how we can do that and start making plans for something like that, other than just kind of in your mind, trying to figure out and save what we have, which isn't really working all that well.
We should be at least every year, if not twice a year, and that's on us, that we are not demanding that and we're not taking the time for that, but we should be looking at that. Any of your goals should be revisited on a regular basis and should be upfront and in front of us at all times, so we know what we're working toward.
Because I've lost it, I've lost where we're kind of going.
And someone said to me the other day, and it really bothered me, messed with my entire day, honestly, because,
I'm
you know,
sorry.
we've worked so hard. I feel like we've all worked so hard over the last, I know I have since I've been here, and someone said to me the other day that they just felt kind of like things were going backwards a little bit. And I'm like, well, I've always said, you know, we take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but we're always still 1 step ahead. And as long as we can continue to do that, but that's not how they're seeing it. And I think a lot of it has to do with, code enforcement. A lot of it has to do with what's going on Central. And I think we as a commission, in going back to, Mark should really be, I mean, we're the ones that make that final decision.
Right.
We're the ones that make that final decision. So Mark should be the facilitator between the community and us, and the educator as well, as to the benefits or pros and cons. But we've got to look at how many people are opting out of this. And if we've got a hodgepodge of zoning going on, that was never the intention. And that's something that we're gonna have to, I think, really look at very carefully and make sure that we don't have a hodgepodge of zoning in this area that we want developed.
Right, because in other words, if you had a plan, but too many people don't want to be in that plan,
Exactly.
then you basically have Swiss cheese.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
That's a hodgepodge, yes.
So we do have to start looking, we've got to start looking at that again. And we have to start picturing where we want, like I say, where we want to be. And part of that too, you know, she brought up code enforcement. Part of that is we really need to have some minimum maintenance out there. You know, because everywhere we look on our streets and roads and everywhere else, everybody's doing their own thing. But most generally, I'm just gonna say it, there's just too much garbage on everybody's lawn, and trucks and cars, and, you know, there's old couches and, you know, you name it, it's out there. So we really need to try and bring in some minimum maintenance standards. And that does not mean that we go into people's homes.
No, that's
Okay.
not, we've taken that out of there, and I've already asked Mr. Martin, and he assured me he's bringing it in September, I believe.
Yes, ma'am. All of the notes that we made in our workshop, went through it, have been completed. Everything's redlined for your all's review when we get there to make a final decision. Nothing has to do with interior, that has all been taken out. So it all has to do with exterior and yards.
And that's the first step, it's the first step to the city looking nice.
Yes.
But Mayor, could I circle back to the Zeb Cohen and the
What do
planning?
you, yeah, what is your,
So I have one request, and that is that, the commission get a good summary of the comments that were made. I mean, I guess, was it on YouTube? Was it on YouTube?
We did broadcast.
and they have recorded it, and I made sure because I wanted to be able to watch it after the
Well-
fact, because I couldn't watch it from where I was.
I think it's important to watch it, but I also think it would be helpful. Mr. King sent in a summary, but I think, it would be helpful if the planners would do a summary and circulate that to the commission of their, official summary
Yes.
of what the concerns were or how it went.
Yes, and if I can, so we received the information and recommendations from Mr. King, that's been forwarded, of course, over to Mark Corrett. They are looking at, of course, modifications to address some of those issues that were brought up by the public. That's exactly why we had that meeting.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, my request is for Seth Cohen just to give an account, a clear account of a summary of the concerns of the public and send that to the commission so we can understand, first of all, what was brought up by the public. I don't know, I haven't looked at Mr. King's recommendations. I don't know if he can really speak for everyone. His are not necessarily the same as what, a summary of the whole meeting would be.
So, yeah, so if you could just ask Mr. Cohen, in a nutshell.
Yes.
In a nutshell, would you please ask Mr. Cohen if he could, provide comments or
Yes, ma'am.
concerns?
Yes.
Kind of
I will.
bullets on concerns that the public has, and if he's got that, also ask him if he can respond to those as well in those, with those comments.
And I will say, just for the, I know not everybody was there, and couldn't make it, we did record it. There were, and Sherry is gonna look how many people, we had a sign-up sheet, so I'll of course include that information, how many people were in the meeting. We had 3 individuals come up and talk, 2 were not in favor of moving forward as it stood. 1 had some recommendations and some changes, but wasn't against or for it. The rest of the public that we had here, most of the people that were here were already opted out. They just wanted to get more information. And we also have received a lot of requests to get this moving from the people who have not.
Who will benefit
Who
from
will
it?
benefit
Who will
from it.
benefit.
So I just want to put that out there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have anything else, as far as when's our next, so everybody has it on their calendar when we're on meeting, the next time?
I had August 25th, was that sound right?
August 25th is what I have.
August 25th at 11 o'clock. Is that a special meeting or is that a workshop?
That is a workshop.
Yeah, it was a workshop.
Okay. I just put it in as both, just in case.
CRA and general budget.
I would,
August, what now?
I would like to add to that CRA and general budget that you also include the enterprise funds, Madam Clerk. And we'll get that revised and sent out as a revised agenda, amended agenda.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll be ready with all of it.
Okay, and I hate to keep asking this question, but are we going to have the information on our prior year closeout by August 25th?
The prior year closeout, we have to finish the audit first, and we're very close on that. So as soon as we get our audit results, we will have information on the prior year closeout.
Okay, because before the prior year closeout, don't we have your latest in-house information on what you believe it to be before the auditor speaks?
We can do some preliminary figures, but I feel comfortable because I don't want to, say something and then have the auditors come around and make a big adjustment behind me or something like that.
You don't want the auditors to come around and
I think what Steve is saying is,
your mic is not.
I think what, but I think what Steve is trying to say is that we don't want to put out information that could be inaccurate that goes out to the public, that then the auditor changes due to a finding, and then we have to come back and explain that. So we want it to come in the correct time when they're complete, and you all will be given that information as soon as we receive it.
I just don't, I don't think that's the right way to do business. I think this commission needs to know where, according to our staff, we stand with our books. And if it's gotta be marked preliminary, then it's gotta be marked preliminary, but at this point, it's
We can do that, we'll mark it
almost,
preliminary.
I mean, up to the rest of the commission, but I think we should be knowing this.
Are you talking about the audit or the?
No, we're
The end of the year closeout?
just end of the year,
Okay.
where do we think we stand? Where do we stand as of what the staff's best ability to tell us where we are? And I understand there may need to be adjustments, but I think we should know.
Okay.
We'll have that agreement to you on the 25th on our workshop,
And what time is that workshop?
11 a.m.,
11 o'clock.
11 a.m.
Great.
For sure.
Yes, it is 11 a.m. It is.
And that is a Tuesday, right?
Yeah. That's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, okay.
Okay, I have
Yeah,
a question, are we having a parade on, which just came to me, Labor Day? Is it Labor Day, are we having a parade?
It's a dance parade,
It's a
is my
dance.
understanding.
It's a parade for Labor Day.
It's a private organization.
She's coming up, they're coming up Central Avenue.
So,
So do you have a call at 10 o'clock?
well, I've had a request, okay, for someone to come to a parade in Crescent City, okay?
Oh, you're not talking into your mic.
Yeah, you're not talking into your mic. Yeah, there's one at 10 o'clock on September 5th.
Okay.
It's the woman that came before us that has the dancers and she's gonna have them performing over at Eva Lion and they're marching up.
Well, this is a political person, so I'm assuming that this is probably no vote, or
Yeah,
it's Gwen.
Oh, do they think that there is like your typical public parade?
That's what I'm thinking.
July 4th?
oh, no.
public.
It is,
Yeah, but she's not inviting us to be in her parade.
no,
No, she's not, right, it's just her parade.
it's her
Correct,
parade.
with her
Dancers,
dancers.
Okay, so I just
And the
want to make
band.
sure when I answer this particular person's request, that's what I tell her. That's all.
Right, I don't think she's looking for floats.
and
or-
the parade is probably, it's gonna be, I don't know what, 30 minutes?
Yes, ma'am, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it should be quick.
Right.
Okay,
So
that's
I
what it
think,
is then.
I think,
I mean, do we know of any other parades around the area?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I haven't heard much.
I don't know, I think our clerk was saying it's public and that obviously it's on a public street. If you wanna go watch their parade, I guess they would appreciate it, that's why they're
They're gonna be
parading.
coming up Central Avenue.
But my understanding is
Asking for-
we're not,
Yeah.
she doesn't need more participants.
Yeah, that's what that's all. I didn't.
Unless we want to join her dance class, which,
I could dance.
Oh, please do, Lisa.
Right, so I've got,
Well, this person is Gwen Graham.
Oh,
Who is,
got it.
Page Jolly's.
right, no, I don't think she's looking for that kind of.
No, I don't think she
participation.
is either, so.
Yeah.
But I would love to meet Gwen Graham. I'd like to meet any of them.
Well-
That's where I'm at. I always like to meet them.
We'll also have another event. Ask the Women's Club to host an event.
I had
I
to
mean,
do
there
something.
will be, well, I don't even know if the women's club will do any, what they'll do this time for the
Okay.
mid-year.
well, there is a gubernatorial election, and if Commissioner Burton has been contacted by a candidate who might want to come to town,
It's a big deal.
I certainly would float that to the Women's Club, and they can invite, now they're nonpartisan, they would invite other people
Well,
who may or may not come. But that would be a big deal.
I think it'd be a very big deal.
Sure. Okay, well, let's talk to the Women's Club.
I have to, just to let everyone know so that I can ask for an excused absence, the October 10th commission meeting, I never missed one. But, it's not October 10th, it's October 8th,
Hey, you know what?
but I've got wedding rehearsal that night, actually, when y'all will be here, so.
She's finally getting there.
Yeah. it's probably-
Okay, so are we still, this is a special meeting, correct?
No, this is our regularly scheduled.
No, we are in a special
Yes.
meeting.
Yes.
Okay, I would like to move.
We're not moving the October meeting.
No, the mayor's asked to be,
Excused.
excused.
I thought you were
So,
saying you're gonna move the meeting.
no.
I did not ask that. I asked to be excused.
I'm responding to the mayor. If Mayor, could I be recognized to make a motion? Okay, I would like to move that we grant the mayor an excused absence for Thursday, October 8th, for a very important family occasion.
Thank you.
A second.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. Y'all can do a voice with this. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Nay, I figured you would. I figured you would.
Of course.
We didn't do that.
I know, but that was, I feel like since I am the chair, I do need to be, to get excused, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody was.
important
Well, we all,
very important meeting.
Y'all wanna come? You coming to Naples?
Naples?
Come down to Naples, yeah, we'll be,
We'll have to change the meeting.
yeah. I did not ask, believe me, it crossed my mind. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna push my luck, but, it's hard not to be here, but
So, this is important.
this is most important.
Yeah.
This is most important.
Okay,
And I'm happy for her.
so, but we're still in meeting. We have.
Yep, I'm looking for,
I move to adjourn.
okay, we have a proper motion. Do I have a second to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, this meeting is adjourned at 1:44. Oh, and it rained on the road.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yesterday was wonderful. The rain,
Now.
well, sadly, we were on the road.